What's up, DGens? It's Quayver. I was planning to make a video just about Alice, since with Alice's release, everyone was worried about her 40-second burst skill. However, upon further inspection to her own kit as well as the kit of Soda, I'm actually going to do them both together. So it's going to be a kit review of both of them, since I think that they synergize very well together on a very specific team. But before we get into that very specific team for them, we're going to go in and we're just going to look at each of the characters real quick, what they do, how they perform into there, and then we're going to go and look into the team that I think that they work best on, because everyone knows that Soda's value is actually pretty good compared to some of the other more the Nikkes that we get on certain other banners. But I feel like Alice's value is perhaps a bit higher than some people are currently giving her credit for. So without further ado, let's get straight into the video. Because everyone already knows what Soda's value is for the most part, we're not going to go too heavy into the detail. Everyone knows that she is pretty well valued. However, just in case anyone is currently not aware of anything that she does, we're just going to go over her abilities real quick. How it works is that when she starts shooting and when she hits a certain number of attacks, she will gain these chips, and these chips allow her to stack up into certain buffs, and then depending on how many stacks she has, she'll do certain things in stages when she does hit the burst skill. A lot of it is things like critical damage, attack damage, burst duration, attack, final attack damage, attack percent, and then with her burst she also loses some of the chips. But however, getting those chips back up really isn't that difficult. Her DPS is actually rather high for what she specifically does, like the shotgun unit. So I think that her value is pretty high. You just, you equip her, you get her the tetras, you get the skills leveled up. I think that all of these are pretty decent. I would, if you wanted to fully max into this unit, you could go full 10s all the way. However, if you stop at 7 for all of them, it's a pretty comfortable stopping point. I wouldn't recommend going above a level 7 for any of these unless you plan to use her in one of your main teams for either clearing the story, for the Union raid, or for solo raid. Now, going into Alice, since she has a bit more of the interesting kit that I feel like is being a bit more undervalued. Now, what Alice does is she's basically a healer for the team, and that's pretty universal all around. You could throw her into a team that consists of Liter, her, and then your burst 2, and then your 2 main DPSs, which would either be like maybe like Naga burst 2, Senti burst 2, and then your likely Pilgrim attackers, Red Hood, Modernia, Scarlet, what have you. However, something that not very many people are talking about is how her skill 1 works, and it increases the buff count for water code allies after 90 normal attacks. And she's a machine gun, so she attacks quite fast. This has very minimal synergies in most teams except for one, and that one actually gives her a lot of synergy with Soda, because what she does is she provides a lot of HP and a lot of healing that this specific team didn't necessarily have that great of a healer for. Now, what that team is going to be the shotgun team. Now, what I would do for this is a team I pre-tested with her, but actually, funnily enough, Sugar is actually going to get backseated here for the new Soda. This team has the highest damage output out of shotguns. I took them into the Union range, as we've been talking during things that maybe you perhaps didn't need to see, or maybe as I'm yapping a bit in your ear right now, you're going to see the damage comparisons. We did it in the Union. I synced the levels for those with that little sync button down at the bottom. And what that does is it turns every Nikke to level 200 and it maxes them all out. Also, just to make sure that it was completely fair in that test, they are all skill level 2 for skill 1, 2 for skill 2, and 1 for the main burst. And that is how all of it was tested. After going into not only the Iron Week to see how she performs as the strong unit, but also into Fire Week to see if Drake was missing any damage, we could actually see that Soda was outperforming both Drake and Sugar in this shotgun team. So that means that you could either run a Drake or a Sugar with the Soda, and you will be able to maintain that high DPS into shotguns. Now, of course, it does suck that we have to get rid of Sugar, since she does provide a lot of self buffs for herself. However, she gives max ammo capacity, which is really, really good. But even after testing, we saw that Drake provides a bit more value in the long duration of the fight, since you could test them up for the maximum amount of time that's there. Now, in this team, the big synergy why this team works so well together is because of Tuve, or Tove, however you want to call her. I think it's Tove, but some people say she's Tuve. It's ridiculous. But she is the water unit in this team that provides that synergy with Alice that not many people are looking at or talking about. And she has max ammo capacity stacks that can fall off. And what Alice does is she guarantees those stacks build up faster, and that if at any point they were going to fall off, maybe she gets stunned, she gains that additional stack back. Or even if she's already at max stacks, it'll trigger getting another stack, which will extend the 5-second duration in there. So you're going to be having the max ammo constantly the entire time, which makes up for the lack of Sugar's weakness, because Sugar gave the max ammo capacity. This guarantees the max ammo is always going to be there. So this entire team just feels very fluid to play, and it feels very good to play. I think that if you do want to run a shotgun team, that you should heavily consider pulling both Soda and Alice, the new versions, and then running them on a team just like this. If you don't have Drake, you could run Sugar, vice versa. If you don't have Naga, you could put any other Burst 2 in there, since she was the pseudo healer of the shotgun team. But if you didn't kill anything, kill whatever you're fighting fast enough, you would end up taking a bit too much damage. But now with Alice here, and then Naga as well, that's no longer a problem. And you could keep Naga on the team because she also provides like the attack buffs, and it gives that entire team going out the entire time. Naga is probably the most valuable unit in this team that is spread across multiple teams. However, we have a lot of replacements for Naga for specific teams, such as Rem, if you were able to pick her up, Miracle Fairy, and for things like the Snow White team is also really good. Marciana is a good healer as well, but she doesn't provide any attack buffs. And then also you have, Crown, which is like the newest good one, Senti as well. So you can definitely spare her. Oh, and how could I forget to mention Blonde? Of course, Blonde is like the very gold standard of what a Burst 2 should be with. The only downside is you also have to run Noir, so Naga was always that piece in that you could run her with Crown as well. But I think that if you just give up your Naga to the shotgun team and you run this as your second team, your third team, you're going to be able to push pretty far into things like Union Raid. I think the DPS in this team is very good, especially once you get them into the overloaded gear and if you have cubes equipped on them, since we just got that new update that gives a lot of the power there as well. I think this is absolutely both of their best teams, and of course, they run together. It's pretty awesome. So those are just my thoughts on it. I think the value, if I had to put a value on them, I think that Alice, if you're not planning to use her on a pure shotgun team, then her value drops a lot, since she doesn't really synergize as well with other water units as good as Tuve, since Tuve has the stacking. So I'd put her value at about an A, but if you are in need of the shotgun team or a third team and you have the shotgun units, then I'd put her at about an S rank in the value. And then Soda is just a standard shotgun DPS. If you're lacking a shotgun DPS, pick her up. I think she has a bit more value than Alice. She's a bit more universal. So I'd rate her at about an S. And by the way, this tier goes up to triple S. So they both have pretty good value, but definitely not as value as someone like Crown, someone like Red Hood, someone that's as universal as that. That will take us to the end of the video. Just wanted to give you a quick update. This is supposed to just be a really quick unit guide, but thank you so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, do all the good stuff, and I'll see you boys in the next video. Peace.